Good morning, guys. Thank you so much for joining today. The topic what we are discussing is dealing with data in Flutter. Okay, so we have looked into two things right till now. Okay, shared preferences and then SQF Lite. Okay, when it comes to shared preferences, I have shown you how you can store some small key values in your mobile itself, like wherever the app is getting installed, there you can store some small key values and access them whenever required. Okay, that is great for keeping some small counters or flags. Okay, uh, they are like cookies. Okay, they like you can make them work like cookies for your mobile app. So and then we have looked into SQF Lite. So in SQF Lite we have looked into CRUD operations: create, read, update and delete. Okay, so in order to understand that, we have done a small application, like small to do application, to understand those concepts. Okay, so generally SQLite is a mobile database. Okay, it's a Flutter version of SQLite, and it's a mobile database. Okay, it doesn't require a server to function. Wherever the app is installed, when you try to create a database within the mobile phone, it will create there. Okay, it doesn't have need internet to function. Okay, so same with shared preferences. Now our next topic is web API. We are going to look into web API. So like what we'll do is we'll try to create an example which will access a web API and show the results that were generated by web API. So first of all, what is a web API? Okay, so web API, right? Like we have so many websites, so many services. Okay, like across the internet, right? Like there are so many websites, so many services. What happens is, like some people, like some developers or some companies, what they does is they will expose their data to outside people. Okay, so how they expose it? Not through some articles, like they not share their data using some Excel sheets or some PDF. Okay, usually people share like that. Okay, but like if you want to use that Excel sheet in your program, you have to download it, make a copy of it, store it somewhere, and you have to process that data and then use it. Okay, so same with PDF. Like if they give a PDF, if you want to use it, like you need to find out ways to read the PDF file. Okay, or if they are giving some notepad file, you have to find out ways for reading it. So what it means is they are giving away the data. Okay, if it is a PDF file, Excel sheet, or some text document, whatever, anyone can read it. Okay, but when it comes to programs, like programs are like, if for example, if a website is giving the data in a notepad, and it's like phone list of phone number of this person, this number, person A, this number, person B, this number, person C, this number, and they have given some document. Okay, which you can access like www.documents.com/phone numbers.txt, for example, or like they have given some format like .xml, .json. Okay, like I'll come to this XML and JSON in a bit. Okay, so basically what they did is they have a website, they put all the phone numbers in a uh, txt file or whatever. Okay, and then they try to expose that to the internet. When you hit, when you type that address, either it will download the file or it will show the data. Okay, usually if it is in xml or JSON format, it will actually show the data. Okay, because your browsers are compatible to show it. Probably if it is a .txt file or .pdf file, it will actually download it and then show you. Okay, without downloading it won't show you. It won't show you what's there in the internet. Okay, it will download and show you. Okay, like it will, like somewhere in your computer it will actually maintain a copy of it and then it will show you. And then like later if you want to save it, you will save it to different location. Okay, if you, for example, somebody exposes doc document, if you open that on the browser, it will not open that file. Okay, it will actually download that file to your download folders or some cache folder and then show you. If it is a pdf file, it will not download. Okay, it will directly show you, but behind the scenes it is actually maintaining a copy in the cache. Okay, so what I mean is the data is exposed in various ways, okay, for people to read. When it comes to programs, as I said, .txt, .json, .xml file, in order to expose them to programs, like for example, just imagine company A exposes the data in one format. Okay, company B exposes the data in another format, company C exposes the data in different format, and all these companies, like there are 100 companies, thousands of companies, everyone will expose the data in their own way. What will happen to programmers? Okay, programmers have to develop their solutions for reading the data every time. Okay, in order to access company A data, we have to write a separate program. In order to access company B data, we have to write a different program. So what happened is, every company has their own way of exposing data. They are creating their own formats, and then at the end, programmers have to understand the format first and then write a program for that. So the way, like, rather than doing it such way, there are some standards. Okay, like rather than exposing phone number just like .txt file, what they does is they will expose their data in .xml files or .json files. Okay, you can actually go to the internet and check what is XML format and what is JSON format. Okay, XML and JSON are two popular formats. Okay, and XML is like very old, I can say. JSON is very popular in recent days. Okay, so as part of our example, what we are going to do is we are going to read some data which is in JSON format, and then we are going to process it and show the results in the app. Okay, so okay, again, web APIs, right? So web API means, like some company decided to expose their data, and they are exposing their data through web APIs. Okay, so if you want to learn much further about web APIs, there are so many things you have to learn. Okay, especially in companies, there will be people who are writing only the web APIs. Okay, there are people who will be creating web APIs and making them available to the company, like to the other developers within the company to use the web APIs. Okay, so the great idea about web APIs, okay, personally what I like about web APIs is, when you expose some data to developers to develop stuff, you can actually see developers doing various stuff. Okay, each developer will call the data, and then he will create his own user interface. Okay, his own ways of dealing with that data. Okay, and you'll see like same data, the data is same, but different user interfaces. Okay, that is really helpful. Okay, like it's like when you expose the data, you need to see what developers will be, you will be excited to see what developers can build. Okay, so, and just imagine you created some applications where you are collecting the data. Okay, for example, you are collecting the temperature data. across all the states, okay, all the cities, all the villages, all the towns, and you have so much of data, and you decided to create one app. Okay, you will create only one app and then everyone can use it, but and you have become very popular, and then you decided like, okay, let me share this data to developers. Okay, and then you created a web API. Whenever they call a link with some city name, it will show the temperature of that data. And then what happens is all developers across the world will use that to create a weather app. Okay, see, the company who is exposing the data is having all the data about the temperatures, but the guy who is using this web API, he doesn't know like where is Chennai, where is Hyderabad, where is Bangalore. Okay, he doesn't know anything. Okay, he doesn't know. What he knows is, if a city name is passed, it will return the temperature. And then what he will do is, he will create an app which will have a text field where city name will be entered, and then he will simply show the temperature. So whoever is using the web API, no need to know like about each values that exists in the data. Okay, all he has to do is, he has to create a program that uses it, and then the developer can go to the public with his app and then make money. Okay, that's how like you are able to see many apps in the internet, where like individual developer will develop a weather API. Okay, a guy sitting at home is able to develop a weather API. How he is able to do it? Because of web APIs. Okay, because web APIs unleashes lot of potential. Okay, lot of potential, and these are like, web APIs are like gift for individual developers. Okay, like when you're sitting at home, and like just imagine, in order to collect all the weather data, you have to roam many cities. Okay, if you like, and you need to recruit so many people, and then you need to keep doing the things, right, which is very difficult. Okay, so web APIs are like gift to individual developers. Okay, where you can sit at home, keep creating apps. Okay, if you take this coronavirus situation, there were so many apps developed across that coronavirus data. Okay, some company is exposing that data, and then everybody has used that data to create coronavirus apps, coronavirus track number of cases, location wise, how many resolved. Okay, all this data is available. And sometimes what happens is, this data is even exposed by government. Okay, for example, if you take government data, government sites, right, they collect lots of data, they have lots of data uh, like population, like say census. Okay, like which crop is growing in which area. They have so much of data. What happens is, what I have seen is, some governments actually exposes that data. Okay, so that developers can use the data to develop apps on top of it. Okay, sometimes, not like not sometimes actually. Okay, so not only they expose the data using these web APIs, you can actually perform some operations also. Okay, you can insert a new record. Okay, modify something. Okay, it all depends how the APIs are exposed. Okay, whether the guy who is exposing, the company who is exposing these APIs, are they allowing you to modify it or not. Okay, they'll say that, okay, use this link for modifying the data. Okay, pass data like this. So they like, this is the response of this data. Okay, that's how it is. Okay, like, and then like, if you try to explore more about web APIs, you will mainly find two things. Okay, one is soap soap, and then the other is rest. Okay, so when you try to search internet for web APIs, you will find rest and soap. Okay, these days rest is popular. Okay, because rest returns data in JSON format, whereas SOAP is a old technology which returns data in XML format. Okay, because JSON is very much popular these days, many depends on rest architecture. Okay, uh, but again, like if you have a web API, like is it a REST API, like it actually depends. Okay, REST is more like it will it REST is like more like we need to perform some operations like get, update, get, put, update, delete. Okay, there are some operations actually, like in order to say that this is a REST API, all like it has to support all these operations. Okay, but when it comes to API web APIs, often we create APIs for our needs. Okay, we always don't have to go with this only this kind of APIs. Okay, you can make you can make them your own. Okay, in your own programming language. Okay, so because each API has to fit your needs. Okay, sometimes you have to go beyond this. Okay, you need to put some filters. Okay, then again you will create another API. Okay, but when you speak about REST APIs, it is about get, put. Okay, you'll see these kind of verbs. Okay, get, put, update and delete. Okay, but in generally web API means there is some server which is having data and they are exposing that data to the internet. Okay, so in order to understand this, okay, so anyways, all web APIs return some data, and then we need to process that data and show that in the user interface. For that we are going to write some example now. Okay, so I will create some project. I'm opening the emulator. Actually, for this example I'm going to use this you use some sample web APIs provided by this website. Okay, so I'm going for more examples, and then I'm going to use this web API. Okay, actually I did some groundwork for this, so I'm keeping that example aside. I made this example like this is an this is a small app which I have developed for learning purposes, and I made it available through my GitHub profile. Okay, so I'm giving this essay just for reference. So about this link, right? So there are so many links. Let's open this. So you can see this is some data. Okay, it says post ID, name, email, and body. Okay, so it says it has some data, and then if you see this, it has got some data. Okay, this is of JSON format. Okay, this is a JSON format. Okay, this is a JSON format. This is a very simple JSON format, I can say. Like if you go beyond, what will happen is you'll have nested JSON formats also. Okay, but we are not going to look into that now because it will take uh, long time to code it. Okay, but however, like we are going to use this simple, but you can use the same concepts to expand that beyond. Okay, uh, to your needs. So let's use this. I'm giving this asset. If you want to learn more about JSON, just Google it and then learn. It will take barely like half an hour to understand JSON. Okay, JSON, XML. Okay, but we are not going to read XML at this point. Okay, I'm going to remove all this code. So let me start the coding. So what I will usually do is I will just write a small program to see whether my Flutter framework is running fine or not. Okay. So I will usually add commas here for making it like it will format the document code document very nicely. Okay, I'm just running this. Okay. So now it is working fine. So here I'm going to actually code the web API example for reading this. Okay. So first of all, let me create the required template for showing this data. Okay. So okay. So let me do one thing. Let me create a stateless widget. My photos. Okay. So here I'm going to have a container. Okay. Let me do this. List view off, and then I'm going to use a list type, and then title. Title I will be using some title like this. Okay. In reading, I'm going to take this URL. So let's see what's there in this URL. So it's having a basic image. Okay, very simple image. I'm going to use that image here. Okay, you can access that image as in, like this. Okay, now it looks good. If I want to add more photos, I can just simply add. Okay, so let me have some space between them. Let's see if there is a value available here. Okay, I don't see nothing is available. Let me add a padding here. Okay, as I keep growing this list, it it continues to populate the data. Oh, okay, anyways, but I don't want all these. Only one is fine. Now the actual template is ready. So now what I need to do is I need to create something which will actually read this data. Okay, so let me take this link. Let me create another file. My web API. Okay, so here we are going to read this document. So let me keep some example over here. Okay, now so actually generally whenever you want to fetch data, okay, fetch data from somewhere else, there should be some sort of data type, right? Like are you reading an integer, are you reading a string? Okay, so this kind of, like, the data might be coming in form of some object. Okay, here if you see, this whole thing is an object. Okay, but it doesn't have a type yet. Okay, if you see here, this this is one object, this is the second object, third object, fourth object. Okay, so all these are objects, but this doesn't have a predefined type. Okay, the type might exist in this side, but at my side I don't know what is this type. Okay, for that what I need to do first is I need to create a similar class for this. So where, and then whenever I receive that data, I need to assign that to that class, so that I'm like, I will be actually able to use it in my program. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, in order to read this object, okay, I'm going to create a class with necessary, like, some helper functions. Okay, class, these are photos, right? Like photo int album id. Let me, like, I'll copy paste this because to avoid typo errors. String title string. Okay, so now we have a class. Okay, so whenever these things are passed, we have to initialize it. Okay, let's make it final because we are not going to initialize them separately. Okay, whenever the class is created, they have to be initialized. So, and I'm going to create a necessary constructor for it. So I have created a constructor. So let me add this as optional parameters so that it will make it easy while coding. Okay, even if I can add something like @required also, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, so and then now okay, so let's leave this class here. We'll write the helper functions as we when we need them. Okay, so now we have class with some constructor. Okay, so let's start reading some data. Let's read this data first. Okay, and then step by step, let's see what is needed for us, and then we'll add the necessary functions or methods to our class. Okay, so we need to fetch the photos, right? Fetch photos. Okay, we're going to have some, we are going to have some function which is going to fetch the photos. Okay, so in order to fetch the photos, we need to write some code. Okay, so how we can fetch the photos, right? For that, you need to use the http dart package. Okay, if you go to YAML file, you need to add the http dependency. Okay, so you might be thinking how I'm saying that we need some package to read a web API. Like, for example, if there is there is no default way of doing it. Okay, uh, there is no default way of doing it. Obviously, we have to depend on the package. Okay, so as per the Flutter documentation, they say that use the HTTP package, which is again developed by Flutter only. Okay, Flutter teams. Okay, if you go to pub.dev and search, you can see that this is this is developed by dart.dev. Okay, published by dart.dev. Okay, they are the ones who gave this package. And the reason why we are getting packages for small things, like if you we might think like, okay, this reading web APIs is very basic stuff, why we need a separate package. It's like it's like not loading something which is not necessary into our final APK file. Okay, so whatever you're going to add here is eventually going to add some more space to your app. Okay, so we by adding whatever necessary, we are ensuring that we are ensuring that we are actually reducing the size of the final APK file. Okay, when I say APK file, when your projects are done and when and you have compiled your project, it will give you some APK files which you will upload that into Google Store or give that to users to download it. Okay, generally, uh, if you are downloading some like, if you are already aware, if you and if there is no app available on Google Play Store due to some restrictions, you will just go to Google again and then search for APK file for so and so thing, and then you will download it from there. Okay, same thing. Okay, but be careful when you are downloading the APKs from the internet, because they might not be secure. Okay, you will be giving some extra permissions. Okay, which will eventually steal the data as well. Okay, now I have added HTTP here. So how to use this HTTP in your program is like, you need to import it. Okay, okay, so see, the reason why I gave HTTP as HTTP, it helps to read the functions that were given in this. Okay, if I want to access this head, right, I can use HTTP dot head. Okay, likewise I can use it, which will make me understand that, okay, this is from this package. Okay, HTTP. So I'm going to pass this link over here. So now at this point, I have some function which is actually reading this data. Okay. And then let me print this data. So let me try something over here and let's see what is being written. Okay. So let me add. So I'm just calling this from here and see how it goes. I'm just saving it. Okay. It didn't do anything. So I just need to reload it from the scratch. Okay. So now you can see something new, right? Instance of future response. Okay. So it means that this is returning something. Okay, if you see get here, it is returning something of future type. Okay, which means that after calling this you need to wait. Okay, you need to wait. So what you can do is you need to add await here and then try to resolve it. We'll add async modifier over here. Now let's read and see how it works. So it is saying instance of response. Okay, now it is different. Okay, it is having an instance of response. If I go here, it is having future of response. Okay, so response is somewhere a class. Okay, if you might like you need to go through this code to find out where you can find the response. Okay, for example here, right? So let's go here, go to this definition. So response is a class. Okay, it is having something like body. Okay, it is having some body. So let's read that body and see what's in there. Okay, so you can see the code like this. Okay, well, like this is the actual SDK code. Okay, from the HTTP package. Okay, so I can just click dot here and then you can see some like code sections. I'm going to click body and then save again and see what's in there in written data. Now, okay, so it has written the body, right? Now you can see that something is written. Okay, so this looks similar to our like this link. Okay, so now we are able to get the same data in our program. Okay, so now we are able to get the same data in our program. So now what all we need to do is we need to process this data. Okay, we need to process this data and make it visible in our app. Okay, so let me remove this fetch photos here. Okay, so okay, let me not remove it for now. Okay, so let me expand this example and see what we can do. So now what I need to do is I have the data. Now I need to convert that into these photos for like I need to make them list of photos. Okay, so that I can actually use them here. I need to make these photos as a list of photos. So how we need to do that is, okay, we need to return a list of photos. Okay, so let's try to convert it. So let's parse it. Okay, so parsing means going to each and every value and then like we are actually processing it. Okay, parsing is processing each value. Okay, so we have something called like in json dot that comes with the Flutter package, we have JSON decode. Okay, we need to decode it. Okay, so if you go to, it needs the source, which is the response body, and then dot. So it is a dynamic type, which means that like you can convert it then into whatever you want. Okay, so like one of the ways to convert the data is, if you see, if you have watched my previous video on SQF Lite, we have these maps, right? So we'll try to do the same thing here. We are actually converting this JSON data into a form of maps. Okay, so if you want to understand more about maps, okay, you have to go to .lang.org. So what exactly we are trying to make is, we are trying to make it something which our program can understand. Okay, so maps are something like this. Okay, so we are going to do the same thing. Okay, we'll try to convert this into. Okay, so now let's see what's there in this pass. Okay, now you can see that it is slightly formatted. Okay, so when you compare with this, you can see it is slightly formatted. Okay, if I go give this response, see the initial response is having some quotations, everything. Now it is slightly different. Okay, so now we have some data in parsed. So this parsed is a list of map string dynamic. Okay, so I can do something like this. Okay, so still it runs, and then if I want to access something inside this parse, I can do something like this. Okay, now you can see that only the first value is being written. Okay, even if I remove this, we don't need this actually. Okay, so still we have that value here. Like if I want to read something else, I can just give like this. Okay, but these are still map string dynamic. Okay, if you remember the SQL SQF Lite example, when we have map string, we can easily convert that into objects by processing through some with some helper function over here. Okay, we can actually process it and then use that in our program. Okay, now we have a parsed JSON format. Okay, so the actual JSON that is generated by this link is now parsed and ready for us to convert that into list of photos. Okay, so in order to convert this each value into one photo, okay, we need to have some method over here. Okay, so that method will actually, when we pass this each object within that method, that will convert that into photo. Okay, so how we can do that is, we have something called factory constructors in Dart. Okay, if you want to learn more about it, just go through Dart documentation. So however we are going to use it, because these things are like only one time work for us. Once you have everything working, you are never going to change it unless and until there are some bugs. Okay, so how we are going to do that is factory photo dot from JSON. So here we are going to, like, we cache this JSON data into map string type, right? So we are going to pass that each value, and then we are going to return a photo. Okay. So let's match these types as well. So just imagine this, like whenever you got some data, before using it, it has to be processed, right? So we are actually taking this map string of dynamic, okay, each photo, and then we are actually processing that and returning it as a photo. Okay, so how we can use that is, now we need to go here. So how we can do that is, now, okay, you can see that we have a instance of photos. Okay, let's return this. Now we are actually returning a list of photos from fetch photos. So now we have to go to main.dart file and just use that list of photos over here. Okay, so we are going to use this template to generate that list of photos. Okay, so but we can't do list view like this. We have to use something called future builder, because like it is contacting internet and then trying to get the data for us, right? Which means that it will take some time. Okay, so when you initially try to access it, obviously it will not have any data within it, right? So that's how, like, that's why you have to use a future builder. Okay. If snapshot, if snapshot is not having any data, we are returning circle progress indicator. Else my photos, and then we are passing that snapshot data. Okay, so it is not yet accepting it, so we are going to accept it. Okay, which is going to be list of photos. Okay, and we need a constructor for it. So like we'll see how we can like we need to improve this code slightly to make it work. Okay, so let's okay, so let's see what is this error. Okay, we need to add rating, and then we need to actually tell what data it has to process, right? So feature of okay, so it is going to fetch the photos and then process it. Let's see how it works now. Okay, so nothing is working. Okay, like it is showing a loading icon, but still the data is not processed. That is because we have not yet improved this. Okay, so now we have list of photos. We need to use that list of photos over here. So for that we are going to use list view, okay, builder. Okay, so now you can see all the titles are being populated. Okay, dd. So now I have images as well. Let me add some padding to each list style. Now everything is working fine, but we have some error like range error. So how you can resolve that is by giving items count. Okay, now perfect, right? So you are able to. So now you are able to read the items from the web API. Okay, so let me remove this part as well. You can see if it works fine or not. Okay, everything is working fine. So let me stop it altogether and then just run it. Okay, so let me add some center here. Okay, so now it is working fine. Okay, sometimes what happens is okay, like sometimes what happens is like the list might be too huge, okay, and then you really don't want to uh, perform, like what happens is when the data is being processed, right, when loading the images and everything, it will take huge time, okay. In such cases, what you can do is you can use something called compute method, okay. I have used that in my actual example. I will leave that to you guys, okay. So you can actually try it. So, but this is a very basic example of reading something from internet, okay, like reading web APIs, okay. That's it from me, guys, today. Thank you so much for joining. Have a good day.